deciding which champion do you think he's going to be picking in this draft.
Well,
so vote on that one if you get the chance to.
It can't be Maokai because NRG already pulled it.
Rest in peace.
So we're presuming that's going into the jungle for Contractz, but it could be going into bot lane with Huhi. I wouldn't put it past them flexing its support, only because Huhi has been one of those players who is more than willing to bring some unique picks into the bot lane. So we'll see what Olleh comes up with here alongside presumably Tactical's Varus. I mean, we have seen one Varus top.
True.
In LEC.
Could happen. I mean, Castle's the one that got the Zac play just in the last game, so if he's been throwing in a lot of picks that I didn't expect from him coming into this play.
Yeah, and here we have Jhin. Obviously partners really well with the Maokai, not just in lane, but in terms of setup for Jin's ultimate. Maokai is absolutely perfect for that. And then the Orianna coming in for Mask.
It's a bit of a risk here for NRG. If you have Jhin, Ksante, and Maokai, I think you're going to be struggling for damage, and especially since you're going to 4-5, it feels like an easy ban from IMT to take away both Corki and Azir. So I'm just interested to see what Palafox is looking for. Maybe they just say, no, we're going for an early game draft, and we're going to be looking towards bot lane. With the Kalista ban, might be the case for NRG, but we'll see how the draft pans itself out for NRG.
Yeah, I mean, ooh, and we have the Nocturne coming in. This is an Armao special.
Yeah.
He loves the Nocturne. So we'll see how that goes. And obviously, Nocturne Ori, we've talked about it a lot in casts, in draft, an incredibly strong combination when you can pull it off.
Hey, I know you'll appreciate this because I feel like people started to really recognize the power of the pick alongside Orianna, like since the Demacia Cup.
Yep.
If you can get the combo pretty consistently, like I fear for FBI this game on his Jhin. So Nocturne seems great. Still, that being said, you're going to have to be punching through a pretty beefy front line from NRG, so want to see how the rest of the bans fare out. So actually, first ban coming through from IMT is Lilia. Interested by that.
Yeah, it means they're definitely, I think, recognizing that the Maokai can be flexed into support, right? So they're taking that Lilia away because presumably it would be going to Contractz in the jungle. Again, there are a lot of flexible picks. Right now, as we see, you already mentioned the Zac top that Castle brought out yesterday. He will not be able to bring it out again because it's already been banned by NRG.
So the list of those high win rate champions that we had on the screen just a little earlier on, chat does think that Olleh is going to be a win rate farmer. He's going for that
So
pick.
we're going to see the elite support.
Any one of those picks, it's possible. We'll throw that out there.
Special.
He's going for 4-5. I don't think he's going to go that far. But who knows?
You don't like, are you flaming my boy Lehens?
Hey, Lehens can do whatever the hell he wants. If you want to bring out Singe, he can do that.
I unironically love Lehens so much. As we see the Vi coming out against Contractz, Vi is not only a really strong pick, but I do think Contractz in particular has had some really, really strong Vi performances. It allows him to start team fights really well. And then the Rakan ban coming out against Olleh.
Okay. And I like even though I presented the idea of just starting to consistently ban mids, fearing for like Palafox going for an Azir or anything like that, it seems like Mask is pretty comfortable being put in that situation because Orianna's, hey, better laner than Azir, that's a fact. And, you know, I think Corki's just always been a question right now. I've actually been seeing a drop off and play from him. So really interested. He has to pick it right now. He has 4-5, but the Aatrox has been locked in by Castle. So draft's looking pretty clear from IMT so far with one pick available. Yeah,
and let's see where we're going to go for presumably the jungle, if we're assuming that the Maokai is going bot.
I'm assuming that the Maokai is the jungle.
They're just going to flex it jungle and see what Huhi is going to pick out here.
Yeah, I think Maokai is going to be the jungler here just because it looks like the bot lane matchup is going to be difficult already with Varus and with you're holding on to 5-pick for support. So you might not want to make the lane that weak. LeBlanc has been locked in by Palafox, so thoughts on that? Pretty heavy on pick with Jhin and LeBlanc as decent setups and probably going to be on side lanes. Do you think it's going to be an AP or AD LeBlanc? I'm interested in that one.
Yeah, I'm really curious just because I feel like also depending on, oh, and we have the Viego Harbor, so that Maokai might be going bot. If Maokai does go bot, I would assume that
There it is.
it would probably be an AP LeBlanc coming in because the Viego is going to be more AD damage.
Exactly. Even though LeBlanc did receive a lot of nerfs, still being somewhat played internationally.
Yeah, I mean, LeBlanc is actually a champion we've seen still have success in LPL and LCK.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you said, the flexibility in build is part of that. And we'll see if Olleh is just going to lock in the Leona. I'm sad this isn't going to be an elite support, honestly.
Yeah,
I hope Twitch chat is sad too,
Yeah, a little sad. You guys lost that vote. So, you know, look, it is what it is. But Leona, great engage alongside Varus. I'm expecting Jhin to for sure go cleanse this game. So thoughts on draft so far? Which draft do you like more?
I mean, I think if IMT can get the right setup for this Noct Orianna combo, it could be incredibly successful, especially with the Varus firing from the backline. On the other side, I do agree that we have some really good setup for the carries that NRG have had. I'm very curious about Contractz Viego, only because he's usually a jungler that likes to get involved early with his lanes, and that's where I think he's best at. Not that he can't play these power picks. So I'm curious to see what his pathing is going to be and whether he is going to be visiting his lanes early.
Fully agree on that one. I'm interested to hear from the casters on this one as the coaches as fist bump, and we're just about to get in the game. Got you, casters?
Thank you very much, Raz and Emily. Welcome back, everybody. APA has gone home. Jat and I are still here with you for the last game of Super Week. It's NRG versus Immortals, both looking to bounce back after a loss yesterday.
Absolutely. NRG definitely had one of the most disappointing losses. Classic NRG game where they let their guard down against the last place team, give Shopify their second win. But if they end on a win here, they will only be one game out of first place. So quite an important one. And I think definitely some different stuff, right? We haven't seen much LeBlanc in the LCS. As they mentioned in the lounge, there has been a big mix of AP and AD LeBlanc. This is likely going to be the AP variant based on the start and the way the team comp is set up. But
Electrocute as well.
It's not an easy to execute team comp by any means. They have a lot of single target damage. They don't have a huge amount of team fight scaling. So they are giving themselves a difficult test here against Immortals.
And I mean, they have the big engage with like Maokai ulti, but that requires setup, right? You can't just kind of throw it out and it's guaranteed to work. Usually you want people to check into you. You want to have a position where you're already pushing onto a turret and you shoot it over a wall or something. So it's not like you just have a go button. Okay, everybody go in right now. We're all fighting. And I don't know. I'm with you. There's going to be a burden of execution here compared to like Olleh, who does just have a no, kill this guy.
Although I will say, Olleh didn't get the highest win rate support in solo queue, which is Maokai. That was picked away from him. I also thought it was really funny how there was a Zac support ban here as well, because that's also high win rate support. So Olleh is definitely mixing things up. His return to the LCS has actually been quite impressive, despite Immortals only having the 2 wins. Really spicy trading. This is another Olleh special. Like he wants to use Flash as soon as possible.
Okay, well, let's see if they give him the chance to do it. Just really casual farming here, level 1. I don't expect anybody to go
He might
berserk.
just go in at level 2, man. He really likes to do this.
I mean,
They don't get level 2 first, though.
Both AD carries also having cleanse removes some of the all-in potential here. Well, go get him. Get him. Nope. I'm not gonna get him.
He's thinking about it the whole time. So something interesting about this Immortals team is they're 2-4. But I feel like even in their losses, the games have looked pretty close. And not much was expected of them. But I've been so close to calling Immortals good.
Okay.
They haven't been. They've actually lost. They've had these critical moments that have failed in each of their games, but like they are definitely not the pushover team that many expected them to be. I think Olleh's made a ton of big plays, and I think Castle and Mask have actually played pretty well in solo lanes. Right away, though, they're getting tested with this energy invade on their blue buff.
Exactly. Contractz moving in. They throw down the ward inside the blue buff brush to guarantee that they have vision over anything that IMT would try to do to stop them. Contractz is going to secure that because of FBI and Huhi being able to rotate up. They had control over the bottom lane.
Yep.
It just creates a scenario that's harder for Immortals to answer, so not really much of a choice other than to yield that.
Yeah, nice pathing overall by Contractz, just taking this bottom side of the jungle, moving up, getting the invade, and making it so now Armao is basically just down to camp. So he's not going to be level 4. All you're trying to do as Viego is slow down Nocturne's ability to get level 6 almost before trying to impact lanes. Because if you try to overgank early, inevitably, I think the Nocturne's just going to power farm, get 6, and then scale from there. So Contractz taking care of the first part of the process first.
Exactly. Nothing too crazy in any of the lanes here so far. Armao will be able to pick up the bottom side Scuttle Crab. But the difference is, you know, you look at the state of the jungles, Contractz still has the ability to finish up the Gromp, finish up his own blue, then he has that crab waiting on him, while Armao's just kind of in walk-around land now. There's not
Still
a whole
level
lot
3.
to do.
Still level 3, 4 minutes into the game, no camps up. Contractz already on the way back to his Raptors to make sure that he can't get stuff stolen. And Palafox.
Ooh, Palafox wanted the opportunity there on Mask, but Armao's presence forces Palafox not only back, but to use his flash.
Yeah, Olleh also roamed up to maybe try and go for these Raptors, but it's going to be pretty tricky, you think.
Contractz does have his smite for the big raptor. Viego Q is really good for clearing out the chicken nuggets. But he does have to go far enough away.
This is dicey. This is dicey. Jhin's on the way.
Yeah, it's a level advantage for Huhi over Olleh as well. Maokai having all 3 abilities, Olleh only having the 2, so Armao forced to flash out there.
Yeah, I understand what Immortals was going for there, especially because Palafox's condition was so bad, but specifically, it was just too slow to develop, and it gave time for FBI to roam up, which is, I think, what ultimately led to Armao flashing. And it means both these junglers are just on the map an extra long amount of time. You can see neither one of them shopped. They've been on vision the whole time, which allows this top lane to be just a pure 1v1 lane with no threat of jungle gank.
And you can see 2 blue question mark pings coming out on Contractz' blue buff, which has still not been taken, and the top side Scuttle Crab, which has also still not been taken.
Yeah.
Both of those available.
And the Grubbies, the favorite camp of all jungles.
Right there in that spot of the map, there's a lot that's available to fight over.
It's so weird, though, because Armao needs... You really feel like you need to base. If you're level 4 Nocturne going for grubs, now would be the time because his Aatrox had lane prio, but they have to base. He's taking another camp. The Viego has already based, so it's looking like these first 3 grubs are basically just being conceded over to Contractz and NRG.
Okay, Huhi once again rotating over to the mid lane. The Maokai just trying to be a nuisance in this Orianna versus LeBlanc matchup. Palafox now hitting level 6. Contractz on the grubs like you were talking about, just immediately jumping into the pit to grab that first one. Castle can walk by the back into the pit, throw the ward over the wall, so that means you want to pull the grubs out. Don't give Armao a chance to try to steal something over the wall if he is nearby. Second grub should drop pretty easy. With Palafox rotating over 2, these guys should get that full 3 like you were talking about. Not much of a chance for Immortals to really contest it.
I think that's pretty standard for the Viego to be able to control early grubs. Immortals' bot lane is quietly performing very well. 10 CS advantage early with the Varus Leona, also having the bot prio to allow Armao to get this Drake. So pre-6 Nocturne getting the Cloud Drake, as long as they can prevent the 5 or 6 grub stack going over to NRG, is a perfectly fine start. Immortals should not be stressing over anything at this state of the game.
Yeah, the gold is still dead even between the teams. You've got the Drake. Yeah, you traded for the grubs, whatever. Like, honestly, even first 7 minutes of gameplay here, Contractz going back, grabbing the Tunneler, working towards what I'm assuming is going to be Sundered Sky. All of the... I was talking with... I think it was... I can't remember if it was day 1 or day 2 this week. It was one of the days this week where it's like all the champions who used to build Divine Sunderer just moved to the new item that says Sunder. Yeah, it's the same word. That's just what they do. But now Armao trying to get away from Contractz here. Huge factor is it's level 6 Viego versus level 5 Nocturne. Contractz trying to flash into an angle of the blast cone that he can use to get away. Spectral Maw, again, just trying to cast it for distance. Mass showing up to this first ends up being a huge X factor, but Palafox knows that Armao is the one that he should have killed, but he miscalculates the damage. Now Palafox is in trouble. Oh man, what is going on? Palafox trying to get away, but they split up to go after both clones. It's first blood to Mask. What?
Yeah, that was a sequence. First off, as a fight happens bottom as well.
All right, 2v2, Olleh and Huhi soaking up the damage on the front as Huhi's got to back out. Ignites dropped, but it's the Maokai falling. Tactical puts the arrow in his back. Look out, the bullets are flying out. Olleh's gonna try to tank it up. Don't let him curve the bullet. Don't let him be Angelina. He ain't wanted. Okay, Olleh blocks him. We're good, what? All right.
He flashed the W because maybe the W kills him. Wow.
Okay. All right.
So where do we start?
Great question. You're the analyst, so I'm going to defer to your expertise.
We're going to start at the red buff.
Okay.
It looked really good for Contractz, and Armao panic W. He didn't block anything, so Contractz thinks he's got the kill, which I think makes him ult in there, but that ult in was actually a huge overextension. It allows Max to collapse, and then I want to see if Palafox could have gotten an extra auto in here, because he E's, he W's. I think he needs to stay longer. He needs to auto one more time. That was a completely missed kill. I think he's dead on the back end whether or not he gets that kill, but at least it's a trade. And now, off of what was a 1-level advantage for the Viego and a pushing LeBlanc, they're the ones that give up first blood? That's a top side misuse of pressure. Bot lane, this is honestly not that surprising. Olleh and Tactical have been crushing people down here. Olleh always loves going in. Tactical starts it because he's level 6 on the Varus. Just charges up that Q at the very end, and they escape on the backside. So Immortals, they're up.
Yeah, Immortals with a nearly 1,000 gold lead after that extended sequence of events across Summoner's Rift. You can see the timer in your top left there, 45 seconds until the second round of grubs spawn. There is pressure on Immortals. Like you said earlier, it's fine to trade early, lose out on that first set, as long as you're not just giving away the full 6 of them, allowing them to have that extra tower pressure for the entire game.
But now Armao has ult. Contractz doesn't have flash, and Huhi doesn't have flash. Like, one of the big struggles of Nocturne comps is getting flashes down in the first place, so their ult is actually threatening. But this means Huhi and FBI cannot play aggressive even if they want to. If there's no eyes on Armao and the Maokai doesn't have flash, he's gonna die. And then when the second round of grubs spawn, Contractz is the one who wants to start them, but he's also one of the biggest targets because of his lack of flash.
Okay, Immortals, let's see how they want to pilot this one, because I do think they're in a pretty solid spot to challenge here and find themselves an opportunity to shut down the grub train. But, choo-choo, we're leaving the station. Contractz is already starting it up. Remember, they want to try to lock energy to only getting 4 of these. Contractz can use the smite on the first one. They do hit that 4 spot.
Yeah, I think Armao needs to just walk in with Mask. Mask is going to take the wave first, though, which I think is smart.
Okay, grubs.
It should be.
Oh no, not again.
It should be 4-2. Chase him.
Not again. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that happened in the FlyQuest C9 game.
I'm never gonna forget that.
And FlyQuest expertly didn't pause because they know that makes C9 win.
Yeah. No, I saw the stat afterwards that C9 when the game's pause.
Undefeated.
Yeah. But then when there's no pause,
winless.
Yeah. Big difference maker there, big X factor, as Immortals are going to make sure that they keep energy from hitting that break point. There will be no Void Mites spawning in the side lanes, so well played.
Perfect, and next Drake coming up. It's not a must-take by any means because we're still so early on in the game, but this is, with the difficulty of the execution of NRG's comp, it's looking very good for Immortals. Like, they're very much, like, get into a team fight, press all your buttons, and win. And they're, if Mask doesn't die here, gonna have an opportunity to do so at this dragon fight.
I thought you were about to just caster curse the living hell out of me.
Yeah.
As you were talking about this, and I see them sitting and waiting.
So another thing that I keep thinking about with Immortals is like, so I've been trying to do an Immortals update every waiting room.
Okay.
Just because everyone expected them to be quite bad, but they're really not.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to, like, every time I say, like, Immortals is good, Immortals is bad.
So if you say Immortals is bad, then they'll be good.
Well, then they win games, exactly, because they're 2-4, or they're very competitive. I mean, yesterday I was doing this like People's Caster where I was just on the internet, and Azael and Rafa were casting.
I saw you in the live thread. I was confused. I was like, what is
the instant Immortals got ahead in the game, I asked for a poll of asking is Immortals a top 4 team, and then they immediately ran it down and lost the game. So I really want to give this team credit. Like, they're actually quite cohesive. Armao hasn't overextended yet this game. Mask is laning quite well against Palafox, so I think Palafox is one of the top mid laners in the league. Tactical and Olleh have prio, and they're just slow playing this because they have the better scaling. Like, I want to say Immortals is good, but I can't say it yet.
Well, let's see if they make anything out of the Nocturne ulti, because with Experimental Hexplate purchased, that ulti is so strong. And you were talking earlier about how, you've got to try to blow the flashes first. Unfortunately, flash is up on every NRG player that has the summoner spell chosen for this game, and NRG are going to start up the Drake for themselves. There is a ward in this pit that has not been swept away. Immortals looking to challenge this. Castle has his teleport ready. He's going to be the one teleporting in alongside Dhokla. Olleh is very low, and he has to try to get away. Now Castle's here in the middle of everybody. World Ender's ready to go.
It should work.
He needs to drain tank, and his Armao's already killed off Huhi. Castle's going to drop to Dhokla, but now where's the fight go? Contractz looking for the reset as Armao has to disengage. Palafox wants to flank, and he jumps into the back line. Armao barely gets away as Energy turns attention right back over to Drake. Palafox is the only Energy player still with good health bar to work with. Dragon's gonna go over to Armao and IMT. Now Dokla's stuck in the pit. Tactical coming up, trying to pick off a little bit more HP as Immortals are still seeing if they can grab something off the back end of the fight. Immortals still chasing. Palafox attaches the chains to Mask. Now Dokla's ready to go in and Mask falls. Olleh's about to drop two. Immortals with an egregious overextension and Energy with a triple kill to Viego.
It was so close. Energy doesn't get the Drake, doesn't win the fight until it becomes an extended skirmish, and then they get the triple kill. And like the start of this, they are able to just one-shot Huhi, who is underleveled because the Varus ult lands on it. But they can't pull off a clean Ori Nocturne combo on a group, so the fight is kind of a skirmish after this. And I think the fact that they actually get this Drake is a small miracle. Look how low Armao is with the fourth shot just being held by FBI, but then as the fight extends, Armao's gone. So this is now a 3v4. They completely overchase. You called it an egregious overextension. That is a perfect word choice. And to just make matters worse, Tactical misses the Q, and that's a lot of gold for Contractz.
Big Dokes is pumped. He is happy about that outcome and the way that that ended up playing out. I think Energy is just sharing that opinion in general.
Yeah, because that was a stressful game state, right? They got all these single target champions. They're down 2 Drakes. They haven't picked up any kills. It's absolutely huge that Contractz gets some gold so that he can start forcing on his own.
What is the cat going crazy? I like that. It's a good emote. All right, Rift Herald started up. There's a control ward in the pit from Energy. Immortals, if they want to challenge this, they're going to have to bring a whole lot of manpower, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Mask is all the way down in bottom lane, does not have his Unleashed TP. You can see Dokla's down there telling a similar story, so it's just going to go over to Contractz and Energy here with this objective. We'll see if they can use that to force down one of these turrets, build that gold lead up a little bit further, because really, the biggest gold lead so far of the game has been around 1,000 gold.
It really has been, and Energy definitely has a level of momentum here with Rift Herald being completed, and also Palafox in side lanes. Like, Lich Bane first is... I haven't been tracking all the AP LeBlanc builds. I don't think that's what you see often, but with the way they need to win this game, it allows him to just do a lot more turret damage. So he will win 1v1 right now against Castle and Mask, since Castle did armor stacking against the Ksante. So he's just going to be able to outdamage him. And then against Mask, or he's just not that strong yet. So Palafox, like, don't expect him to group if he can ever choose to be separate. I think when this game could get interesting is going to be at the 3rd Drake. For now, though, I think Energy is going to slowly extend their gold lead if they play this right, because they do have better side lane solos.
Contractz just continuing to farm up here on the Viego. 3-0-1. I mean, he went from just kind of being there, existing in the game, to that triple kill, making him feel like, okay, you're in a great spot heading into mid-game here. 16.5 minutes in. He's also the one with the Eye of the Herald. And even though they didn't hit the breakpoint and get the Void Mites like we were talking about, they've still got that nice bonus damage with the true damage over time onto all the structures they're hitting.
Yeah, still going to help them just a little bit. It's a nice denial, but the Void might still give something. And Energy looking like they're trying to punish Mask. Mask thinks he has vision, but not there.
Contractz coming in. Spectrum off, finds the connect. Mask is stunned up, and Huhi's ready to follow. Twisted advance, keeping him on top of him as Contractz continues that chase. Another Maw stun, another job done. Contractz 4-0-1.
Sundered Sky coming in clutch, and you can just see that's Orianna in a side lane, especially in this new season, just doesn't have the complete vision. He got snuck behind, and it's going to be first turret of the game, likely going over to Dhokla.
They don't even need to use the Rift Herald on it. It's already so low from what you were talking about earlier. Palafox's Lich Bane build, chipping it super, super close to death. And Dhokla can finish that one off easily. Gold lead now blowing up to over 2,000 gold. You can see the gray hourglass there in the bot side river. Next, Drake's going to be spawning here soon. Now, if you're Energy, you know that, okay, they've already got the 2. It's not dire yet, but if you give them Soul Point, then it might be more of a problem. So I'm expecting Energy to probably challenge for this next one.
I think they will challenge, and I like what they're doing now with Palafox, who just cleared out a control ward in that tri-brush and is pushing bot lane. Because, like, specifically, if Energy can maintain threat from flanks, it makes it really hard for Immortals to engage because they want to do the Nocturne Orianna combo into a group of people, but if Palafox and Dhokla and Contractz are all spread out from the side, then Immortals really won't be able to walk forward. Like, Nocturne can fly in, but then as soon as Tactical moves forward, he's gonna get one shot. And the fact that Mask is already at half health and burn ultimate is like, what are you doing? Well, they can't fight Drake now.
Palafox also did take a chunk of damage himself and use his flash down there in that bottom lane, so that's an important tool that's not going to be available for them. Mask going to go ahead, take his recall, get his health back, and he has his Unleashed teleport to rejoin the team if he needs to. Immortals, they'll at least try to secure this Scuttle Crab as they fight for vision, trying to secure the Drake. Palafox, a lot of burst there onto Castle, beautifully done. 75% of his HP right there as Huhi fires off the ulti. Armao spell shielding one, but Olleh's caught by the other. Dhokla here on the front line as the fourth shot nearly kills off Olleh. He barely hobbles out, he's got 100 HP remaining. Palafox wants to finish him off, but he won't quite find it. Immortals in full retreat, NRG in full control.
That was really well done by NRG. And specifically, Palafox to me is the star of that one because he baited out the Orianna ult, which just completely nerfs the team fight of Immortals. And then when he TPs back, he takes Castle to 30% health. So by himself, he took both of the enemy solo laners out of the fight.
Well, I think the rest of NRG is looking to take Mask completely out of the game here if he sticks around too much longer. They're going to at least pose that threat. Dhokla, just the man who's been assigned to deal with this split push situation the whole time. Armao chasing Huhi back away as Dhokla will disengage from Mask. NRG just falling back. There's nothing really left to fight for down here now. They're not going to try to hard force anything immediately onto that tier 1 turret. Still curious where Contractz is going to drop the Eye of the Herald. Dhokla, I would be a little bit more panicked if he wasn't Ksante, but he's Ksante, so he can just kind of walk away from this. Pathmaker is really strong.
You can make many sentences just saying Ksante and have it make sense.
Yeah.
So he lived because he's Ksante and he did Ksante things.
Yeah, he Ksanta'd them. Ksante is one of those words in the English language that can be used in so many different parts of speech.
Yeah, like buffalo.
Yeah. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Ksante, Ksante, Ksante. Rift Herald summoned up mid. LeBlanc is driving.
Interesting.
Straight into the turret. There we go. And he can get out, right? Because it knocks you so far out, and then if you're a champion that immediately has a dash afterwards, you can actually get pretty far away, even if you're driving it straight in there.
Yeah. That was fun. Palafox is having a fun game right now, actually. It's like one of the most effective 0-1-4 LeBlancs I've seen. He narrowly missed that first kill that would have, I think, made him even more impossible to manage. But then, like, also just being able to do this to Varus, like, Tactical is literally just trying to hit a minion.
Oh, okay. That was close. That was close. That was almost really stylish.
It would have been incredible. Tactical can't play the game. He's Blade of the Ruin King Varus, I think, because he was a little bit worried about treading through Ksante, but he can never get close. And look out.
They're going in for Huhi. He flashes out. The fear is going to tether to him, but he still gets away. The enchanted Chemtech Blast Cone just eats you about 50 yards in one direction. So
I love that thing.
The play fizzles. Yeah, those are a lot of fun. Like the giant plants, even though a lot of people don't like the Chem Rift because the Dragon Soul is weak, the plants are a lot of fun.
Oh man, Contractz is in.
1v2 here in the river. Trying to disengage, but he's got his boys coming to back him up. Huhi over the top here with the Maokai ulti. Immortals have a 4-man response, but is it going to be enough? Huhi's very low. Tactical grabs the kill. Contractz barely escapes, down to about 20 HP. Immortals finally found themselves an angle here as Palafox continues retreating. Contractz really happy to not end up dying himself there.
Really weird fight there because I was just ready to praise NRG for never fighting Immortals 5v5. Like, they're always able to pick people off and burn crucial cooldowns. I need to see how they bursted so much damage here because remember, no Nocturne ultimate whatsoever. Huhi feels like he's coming in super confidently, but then the aftershock wears out. The Varus ult headshots him with the Ori ult, and he's still just a level 8 Maokai, so Immortals turning it around there when NRG was feeling confident.
Funny enough, Huhi's Bramble Smash knocked Castle back the exact right distance to then put Huhi in the sweet spot of Q2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so then he's immediately knocked up again. He's controlled by the chains. Q3's then also ready, so he gets double sweet spotted for part of the burst.
Wow. I don't think they tried to do that, but they did it.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it was supposed to be, but it ended up working out like that.
Yep, that's a three-pointer off the glass right there.
We'll take that. We'll take that. Immortals still down 2,500 gold, though. They are up the one Drake, but it's really not a whole lot. They still need to find these fights like you're talking about. Wombo combo, the Nocturne and the Orianna together. Mask does have 2 full items completed on top of those Mercury treads. It is a defensive boot choice because of the existence of LeBlanc, so you're not going to have quite the same level of burst you would have with something like a Sorcerer's Shield.
Yeah, and it's honestly turning into a really weird game. Like, I feel like NRG is piloting this quite well, but they need to continue to execute at a high level because you can see kind of what Immortals is forced to do here. They're completely corralled, and Tactical is under threat once again.
Curtain call opens up, and Immortals are diving in. Palafox very low. He's already lost the clone, as Castle is now ready to fight, but he's got to be careful. A drain tank, not a true tank. Armao down below half now, too. Palafox and the rest of NRG don't want to chase it any further. The fact that Palafox took as much damage as he did, that's one of your cleanup crew, right? That's the head janitor, and now he lost his broom.
Exactly, so you can see NRG trying to play flanks, but at that point, Immortals finds a pretty good point to pull the trigger, gets them fairly low. I don't think they're going to have the cooldowns back for the next Dragon, but it's clearly not over. The fear is for Immortals that they're just going to keep falling further and further behind in gold because they're not really able to touch side lanes. Like, that's why they're 5 people mid. So as soon as they see everyone from NRG in the same spot, they're like, this never happens. We have to fight, because that was the one time there wasn't actually side lane threat against them, and they didn't get anything out of it, but that's where their win conditions lie.
And I like the fact that they all went for it, right? I talk about this a lot whenever we're watching teams that are lower ranked in the standings, is I want to see them at least communicating what they want to do and doing it as a team. I feel like whenever we watch the best League of Legends in the world, when we're watching like World Finals or something, it always looks like 5 champions piloted by one guy. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that I think a lot of the lower ranked teams struggle with. They need to have the cohesion. They need to look like one dude playing StarCraft.
Well, they got 5 seconds on the Nocturne ultimate. It's up now, so they have the combo, and actually they are not pressured from bot lane, so they can actually get the first setup on this Drake. Immortals do have a chance in this fight.
Okay, let's see it. Tactical on the Varus. We'll see how much DPS he can manage to supply here. You already mentioned the Blade of the Ruined King build. Makes it a little bit difficult to maximize that DPS, but here we go. Immortals going after the Drake. They've got all the stacks of the Blighted Quiver on it. Huhi ulti over the top. Olleh's here for the front line. He's isolated away from the rest of the team, but he is Leona, tanking it up here for a while. FBI grabbing the kill. Immortals still having the Drake very low. They will secure it. They'll go to Soul Point, but they're here at a 4v5. Shockwave only finds Huhi. Palafox going in for Mask. Looks to find a little bit more damage as Palafox is leading the charge. Huhi's very low, and Contractz is going to be killed by Tactical. The shutdown back over to the AD, carry from IMT. Castle is still fighting. Raid boss Aatrox. Palafox and FBI head for the hills, but it's FBI heading for the dirt. Dhokla wants to get away, but Tactical's just gonna put a few arrows in him. A triple kill to the Immortals bot laner, and NRG got messed up in that one.
And remember when I said Tactical couldn't play the game? Super wrong.
Turns out he can.
He can really play the game right now. When the fight goes like that, he's able to find a window to free hit onto Contractz. He then walks up, shreds Dhokla. Castle specifically, though, just bought so much time, and that was really that lack of 5v5 teamfight damage from NRG. They never set up the early side lanes. They never chunked anyone before the fight, and now Immortals is going for Baron.
Immortals got it down to 2,000. Palafox wants to stop him, but now he's ignited. He has to retreat. There's no way in. Immortals have a gold lead and a Baron buff.
I gotta ask this question again. Is Immortals good?
Are you trying to get them to throw? Every time you say it,
I don't know.
something goofy happens.
I haven't said it yet. I just keep asking the question. I want to know when it feels right. If it doesn't feel right, it's not true, but it's close. So this fight, it doesn't look right at the start because Olleh goes down. The smite was super clutch, and the full retreat, just like watch the way NRG splits though. So once Palafox's cooldowns are gone, there's not threat, and honestly, Contractz is just not with the team. He's trying to threaten the flank, but he gets CC chained, and then the fact that Mask escapes means all of NRG's cooldowns were for nothing. Castle flashing in for the maximum threat at the end, and everything goes to Tactical.
Castle's flash Q3 hits real LeBlanc and FBI at the same time. That's such massive damage output. Palafox was trying to get away, cosplaying the wolf. Not quite in time there for Armao to stop him, but man, Immortals, okay. This is your shot. This is your chance. The gold lead has swung back around the other way.
Here we go.
Here comes Huhi for the engage. Olleh on the front line yet again, but just like last time, it's Leona. That's not going to win the combo. They go win the combo. The shockwave with the Nocturne, and FBI's already killed Olleh. Where's the fight going to go from there? As it's Palafox for Olleh traded. Keep your eyes on Tactical. This is the guy who can provide all the damage.
Oh, and he's safe now. The threat's gone. They killed Palafox. They actually executed the Nocturne Orianna combo, so Tactical can feel relatively safe.
Oh boy, Dhokla's coming in, still trying to provide that threat.
No.
Tactical! Contractz nearly kills him, but Tactical flashes back over the wall. He's so low that Immortals do not want to continue fighting. NRG stops the threat by putting the pressure on the ADC.
They're so close. NRG is fighting now from the back foot, but Tactical just needed his bruisers in front of him so that when that fight starts, he can actually hit. They stopped him from being able to hit. This build at the moment with the Terminus, the Bork, and the Rage Blade,
on here.
Holy crap, it does damage.
Yeah.
But it just needs time. Like, you need to be able to have time to right-click. You can't constantly be sidestepping, and that was a very good re-engage by NRG to stall out what'll probably be the last push that NRG gets with this Baron. So now it's kind of resetting this game. And for me, the big question is like, what's gonna happen with this mid lane wave and this bot lane wave? Because if Immortals can have the first setup in Drake and just have vision in this area, they can just walk into that space with impunity and not worry about flanks. So that's what NRG is trying to disrupt. I'm not sure how they're going to try to solve the puzzle. Maybe it's just having LeBlanc top lane and just trying to play a side lane game. But then, like, once they give up Soul, it just starts to feel a little bit more desperate. I really don't know how NRG is going to approach this one.
Really interesting, too, because going back to what I brought up earlier about how a lot of times you don't like the Chem Soul compared to some of the other ones.
Yeah.
I think in a game like this, it could have more value because it protects you more when you're getting low, if you have to stand there and fight. When you've got something like a Drain Tank with an Aatrox, when you've got this tactical build that wants to be able to stand and DPS guys, I think there could be some more value than what's expected out of this game.
I completely agree. I would like to see a defensive item at a tactical next.
Okay.
Because he's the one player at this stage that I feel like can actually get bursted 100 to 0. Everyone else has kind of some level of shield. I'm not even sure. Maybe just like pick up a null magic mantle.
Okay.
Like just one. That way Palafox wouldn't have fatal damage. And you can see like Palafox is up there. He's just trying to get gold. And I don't know if he's gonna stop pushing.
Got some gold.
Like even though he's recalling now, Immortals doesn't know if he's recalled yet. He might feint this one.
I mean, the thing at the top at one point said the gold advantage was 0.0k, so he got him ahead by like $3.
Yeah, well, it got him the Crypto Bloom at least, so now he's on par with Mask's items, but Immortals can just, I think Armao just wants to hit. He just wants to hit this Dragon. When it gets to about 4,000, he's going to press ult, and then probably not even go in on the ult, probably just smite Drake.
Right, you just use it to deny the opportunity for NRG to go in. As the Drake is down to 3k. Contractz in a bad spot against Castle, though. They've already got the Chem Drake secured for IMT. Armao flies over the top. Contractz with a defensive Heartbreaker to try to survive. Castle just flashes over the wall and takes him out. Beautifully done to the Immortals top laner. But now Dhokla's going to try to get one back. Castle is still drain tanking all the way through him. Dhokla's trying to escape, but Tactical's got the arrows ready to go. Dhokla should drop here too. Olleh is going to take the kill credit. It's Soul plus 2 kills for Immortals.
Is IMT good? They're so close. Immortals has the Soul. They completely demolish Contractz and Dhokla there, and Tactical shredding that turret without the Baron buff.
All right, Immortals, do not overextend here. Palafox putting a little bit of damage into Armao. He's got to back up. The problem is Tactical is almost out of mana. Armao is almost out of mana. Immortals are running low in the gas tanks here, so they do need to go back, reset for a little bit. It is under 60 seconds until Baron's up again.
It absolutely is. The objective power will not stop it. This is just Castle. Like, this is just Castle bodying NRG. Contractz, because they didn't have good setup, needed to find a way into the pit, couldn't get it. Armao doesn't even need to ult early to deny vision, and then just watch this. Oh my god. Boom. Just flash Q1, gets the one shot, and then the Chem Soul also makes it, so he's taking reduced damage. They can't kill him. We just talked about that. And they win the backside of this fight. They need to play clean from here on out. And there's one other thing that I know everyone online is going to be talking about.
All right, what do you got?
Non-rational gaming might be making a return. Like they've played 1- and 2-win teams the last 2 days after beating, like, I think it wasn't C9, but it was they beat FlyQuest. They beat a bunch of good teams, and now they're losing to some what some would say are bad ones. I'm on the fence. I think Immortals might be good. I wouldn't call them bad, but the rest of this game, I think, will decide whether or not that's true.
I don't think you've called them good or bad. You just keep pondering what they are.
They're an enigma.
You're very much in a philosophical state of mind when it comes to Immortals.
I mean, if they're 3 and 4, they have the same record as C9. Is C9 bad?
Is Immortals better than C9?
Well, they're going to be the same if Immortals wins this.
All right, let's see if Immortals can close it out, though. We're not at the Nexus yet, they still have to get across the finish line. NRG trying to stop him. Palafox, very swift burst there onto Mask for 2/3 of his HP. That's at least going to force IMT back a little bit. They really want to establish vision control over this top side blue jungle of NRG. Make sure they can see him as they approach and be ready for the barrier.
Those plants, this Chem Soul is the Immortals 6th man this game. They're full health once again. They're on Huhi.
Oh, Huhi gets caught out, though. The Chains of Corruption to lock him down. They want to go in and try to burst him before anybody can say anything about it. Nicely done. Castle grabbing the kill. Now the rest of NRG trying to retreat as Armao's providing the threat off to the side. Dhokla burst down to the front line as Castle keeps the chase going. FBI and Palafox trying to get away, but FBI is caught! He is not the one who knocks! It's Immortals knocking everybody down today. Contractz trying to get away. Palafox trying to heal up, and Immortals trying to end the game now. They've got the wave, they've got all 5 players alive. Palafox, Olleh, the Chad Leona will lock down LeBlanc and stop the fancy feet. Contractz can't reset, and that'll do it. It's 3 seconds on Huhi, but everybody else is dead for another 15. Immortals should win the game right here. IMT coming together as a team. Huhi trying to jump forward on tactical. He just wants to waste their time, but Immortals have their eyes on the prize. They'll end the first round robin 3 and 4, and they'll do it, taking down the reigning champs.
So one thing is for certain, Flowers. Is Immortals good? Is Immortals bad? Technically, they are exactly as good as Cloud9. That is what we've learned after the first half of the LCS. 3 and 4. Disappointing to some, I think incredibly impressive based on the expectations that Immortals had coming into the split. Big game from them. They picked the team fight comp. They were getting pulled apart a bit in the mid game, but they clutched up in the end. A satisfying end to the Super Week for this Immortals team.
The standings are kind of crazy right now. NRG's at 4 and 3. Cloud9's at 3 and 4. Immortals are at 3 and 4. We got all sorts of craziness. There is a massive melee in the middle.
FlyQuest ends the first half as the first place team. They've only had that one loss, but even though it's 5 different players,